Hey YouTube, Joe Bassett for Valiant Outfitters again. We're continuing on with our series about a tri-stick, working on our carving skills. This is not the full Morris Kohansky tri-stick, but I do have a link down in the description if you'd like to download an article that he wrote about his tri-stick. It's an excellent way to practice your carving skills. Now, our tri-stick that we use at Valiant Outfitters for the intro courses does not have all of the same notches or carving techniques that he has in his. This is simplified somewhat, but this is a great starting point if you're working on your knife and your cutting tool skills. Last time, we worked on our square reduction and also our round reduction. This notch is the next logical step in your skills. Some people call this the beak notch or the bail notch or the pot hanger notch, whatever you call it. It's a very handy notch that's not just for suspending a pot over a fire as many people use it. I also use it when I'm making my bow drill as a way to secure that cordage on my bow. For this one, I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer, give you some close-ups of how it works. To start, I'm going to make some stop cuts, and I'm going to do those in the shape of an X. And I want that X to be pretty steep, pretty acute angle there. So I do an X one way and X another way. I could do that just by pressing directly down into the wood, or I could baton down in. Another option some people use is their saw. I could saw a notch in for the X this way, and then add another one this way. For demonstration purposes here, and also I suggest for practice, I say go with your knife just pressing in. And press in, that's one stop cut. And I'm going to do a pretty steep angle the other way. Then, I'm going to start in the middle, taking off as little as possible. Practice putting that knife flat and tipping onto the edge so you feel where it is, and then take just a tiny little bit off. As small a motion as you can make. Go into those stop cuts again to get rid of those excess shavings. Now I want to aim towards the stop cuts. I'm going to take this stop cut, and that's the one we're going to go for first. Take as little as possible. Deepen my stop cuts. And now I'm going to flip and go to the other side. Again, take as little as possible. Very small movements. Take those out by deepening my stop cut. And I'm going to continue that process. Come into one angle with maybe two shaves. And take that off the stop cut. Now as I'm doing this, I'm going down in. So I'm creating an angle from here where it's level or parallel with the dowel, the exterior of the dowel, and then it's slowly going down in. Repeat that process on the other side. At this point when I'm making my stop cuts, I'm going to stop going parallel and I want to start going in to the dowel to undercut. So I'm going to undercut that direction and then undercut this direction. And then shave a little bit more off. Deepen those stop cuts with an undercut. And then the same thing on the other side. I'm going to continue on with that same idea. Over and over again. It's a repetition of carving. I'm aiming to take the most wood off down where those stop cuts are, but also being careful to not overshoot the stop cuts. The good news is the further I get down with those stop cuts and that undercutting, the better the stop cut is at stopping the knife and not overshooting. Now you'll notice that the beak is starting to form. A little uneven here, I can clean that up, trim that up. But here in the middle I still have a ridge. I want to preserve as much of that ridge as I can. I'm still going to be aiming to go down to the heartwood, a little less than halfway through the dowel, but I want to preserve as much of this as I can to maintain strength, both here for the dowel and also in the beak. This is what one looks like in the wild. This is a pretty small pot hanger. Now a lot of people use the notch actually to hold the bail for the pot, and you can do that. You can use that to hold the bail. Many other people will put it up on their ridge line and hang the pot here. It's a bit more secure that way, I feel. And also there are some other notches we're going to learn that you can secure up here. If this were really to be used for cooking, I would have a much longer dowel here, and I would put in multiple notches so that I could raise or lower to adjust the heat in the fire cooking. But this is a good example of what one might look like in the wild. Notice that the notch is on the same side as this V in the branch. There you have it. The bail notch, the beak notch, the pot hanger notch. Pretty handy for a lot of other uses we'll get into another time. Thanks for joining me for this video. If you enjoyed it, you found it helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, hit notifications so you know every time I come out with another Wilderness Wednesday video. This is Joe Bassett for Valiant Outfitters. We'll see you again for another Wilderness Wednesday.